All right guys, today we're checking out the VICTRIP R6. So on first glance, this is like a mini moped style fat tire e-bike. Kind of resembles some of the bigger brands, right, that make adult size versions of this. Definitely aimed at kids, teenagers. That's sort of what the marketing is telling me. So not a ton of power, but it is a pretty unique design. And if you wanted to mod this thing, I think it'd be fairly easy to do. Anyway, let's walk through all the features. So the first thing that you'll notice are these 16 by 4 inch fat tires. So on a full size version of one of these things, it would typically be like 20 by 4 inch, right? So this is 16. You also have kind of a dual sport tread, so you could probably take it off-road if you wanted to. Integrated front fender. You also got a front suspension fork. Not a ton of travel, but should be decent enough, at least on grass. Here we have the mechanical disc brakes, so not a ton of power, so you probably don't need hydraulic disc brakes, but definitely adjust this before you start riding. The frame is actually high carbon steel, and we got the orange version. For power, we have a 48 volt, 15 amp hour battery. I believe there's also a 13 amp hour version. Here we got a rear monoshock. Looks like you can adjust the preload, but that's about it. You might be able to stick a aftermarket shock in here, probably something pretty small though. Looks like the controller, or at least the wiring, is tucked underneath the saddle seat. Here we have a pretty comfortable saddle seat. This is a traditional moped style saddle seat. So based on this design, pretty easy to get this thing rewrapped if you wanted to. Some mounting points over here, I'm assuming to add a rear rack. Here's a look at the mechanical disc brakes in the rear. And this is where the kickstand is located. Now the kickstand, we actually had to bend it out a little bit because it was a little bit too tall and was tilting the bike to the right side. So you might have to adjust this. All right, so let me show you guys how to turn on the bike. So you do get these key fobs, you get 2. You also have the keys for the battery. So now to secure the bike, you actually hit the lock button on top. Should give you an alarm if you start moving the bike around. Let me see, does it? Maybe it doesn't, there you go. Okay, so to unlock it, you hit the unlock button, hit the flash button, and that turns on the screen. On the left side, you have the controls for the headlights, so nice and bright. You also have turn signals, so this is what left looks like. You can also hit the right one. Hazard lights, right? Sequential. You also get them in the rear as well. Great for riding at night, and we don't have the brake sensors connected, but I believe if you do have them connected, this should get brighter when you hit the brakes. You also got the horn button. Pretty loud. The 3 riding modes, so these are actual physical switches, 1, 2, 3, and then you have an on-off button, which is basically enabling park mode. So when you hit off and you see this P over here, it means that the throttle is not enabled. So good safety feature, kind of a kill switch, and then you turn it on, and then you get into the riding modes. As I said, we removed the brake sensors, and we also swapped the brakes, so left rear, and then right front. We like it moto style, but that's just preference really. All right, so in terms of the motor, we have a 750 watt rated 1000 watt peak rear hub motor, and we also have a single speed transmission. And the total weight of this bike is about 94 pounds. So now that we've gone over all the features of the VICTRIP R6, let's take it out for its first ride. Okay, first ride with the VICTRIP R6. This is what I would describe as a mini fat tire electric e-bike. So like, you know, kind of the typical moped style fat tire e-bikes that we review, it's just shrunken down, right? Aimed at kids, aimed at teenagers, but I'm pretty much the size of a young teen, so. My inseam is about 30 inches, so this is what I look like on it. Pretty comfortable, right? You got the front suspension fork, the shock, feels okay. We'll see how it performs off-road. So it comes with this remote key fob. You hit unlock, and then you hit the flash button, and turns on the bike. I think it's a little overkill for something like this, but whatever, it's fine. We reverse the brakes, left side is rear. You do have this parking button, so I'll turn that on to get into the ride modes, and you have 3 ride modes, so pretty standard. Full twist throttle, and we'll start it without any throttle, just pedaling, and here we go. Okay, so now obviously the bike is a little small for me, so if you are a full-sized adult, this will be very cramped for you. Still no throttle. Pedal assist level 1. That feels pretty good actually. Especially if you're kind of like, you know, maybe you're a kid and you're just getting into electric bikes. This is a pretty good option because it's like not super powerful. And the pedal assist is actually really, really smooth the way it's tuned. Let's go to power level 2 now, or pedal assist level 2. Still no throttle, and you get a little bit more on the low end, yet it still feels very, very easy to control. It's not jerky at all. It's a very smooth ramp up. And let's just go to power level 3, ride mode 3. I'll give it a little bit of throttle now. And, you know, throttle has a slight delay. But again, this is, you know, purposefully tuned down, right? So, yeah, it's not bad, but, you know, if you're used to high-powered e-bikes, you're gonna probably want a little bit more. It does feel a little bit lower than the 48 volts that is advertised. So you might be able to get more out of it if you can tune the controller. Brakes, we got mechanical disc brakes, so not a ton of stopping power, but you know, still pretty good for the weight of this bike. I've never ridden like a mini fat tire moped style e-bike before, so it's a really interesting feeling. But I'm used to, you know, these frames, I'm used to the geometry and riding it. So just in terms of like maneuverability, and maybe like you're riding around in like, you know, crowded streets or whatever, around pedestrians and people walking their dog. This is a kind of a cool bike to just like, it's not intimidating. You could just ride slow. We removed the brake sensor, so let's see if this thing can actually hit balance point. So that is balance point right there. Throttle is very, very smooth. And then once you lose it, that's it. Doesn't have enough low end to pop it right back up, but this feels very unnatural. Probably not what this bike is meant to do, but but if you wanted to feel balance point, you can do it on this bike. It's just a very smooth, easy to control.
The VICTRIP R6 is a compact, all-terrain mini-fat tire e-bike built on a high-carbon steel frame. It comes with a headlight, turn signals, and a tail light for better visibility on the road. A key fob adds remote access, while a center-mounted color LCD display shows ride stats like speed, distance, and battery life. Power comes from a 750-watt rear hub motor that peaks at 1,000 watts. It's paired with a 48-volt, 15-amp-hour removable battery. A full twist throttle on the right hand, and 3 assist modes give flexibility for how you ride. For comfort and control, the R6 uses a double crown front fork, a rear monoshock, mechanical disc brakes, and a moped-style saddle seat. The 16x4-inch fat tires are also decent for mixed terrain.
It does have quite a bit of torque for what it is. It's very smooth. And the brakes aren't terrible. They're definitely a 2-finger brake if you're gonna drop back, but yeah, I don't know. It's wheelies, I guess. I mean, if you're gonna learn, this is about the best thing to learn on, because it doesn't want to buck you off, and you can learn how the brakes work. And if you fall, trust me, you're gonna fall slow. You're not falling fast on this bike, let me tell you. Like, I was flooring it, and I had to like lift up as hard as I could to pick it up. But when it comes to learning throttle control and brake control and stuff like that, can't get much better than this. So, yeah, I don't know. Ooh, and that was floored. So, I mean, obviously this isn't meant to be for a full-grown adult like me. It's more for kids. It's definitely perfect for like a campground cruiser or something. The fat tires and, you know, the suspension in the front. It's got turn signals, a headlight. Most campgrounds after dark, you have to have lights to be visible, and maybe you want to take it around the neighborhood, or they're driving it back from their friend's house at night. You know, it's nice to have all those things, so the cars know where you're going and what you're doing. So we're just gonna cruise this thing around off-road a little bit and see if we can make it up this hill. I have a feeling we're gonna need every little bit of speed and run up, so I'm just gonna floor it preemptively. Stand up, because I know that rear suspension is not good. Oh yeah, we're not making it. There's no way. If you pedal, you'll barely make it. That's mode 3 all she got. But it did make it, which is actually semi-surprising. I had to take kind of a weird approach angle, but yeah, the rear suspension is not great. The front suspension is okay. I feel like the tires are almost absorbing more than anything else. Oh my God, I can hardly go up the tiny hill on the top of the hill. All right, let's try going down. Oh my God. Oh. Not bad, let's see. I mean, this is the perfect putt around in a campground bike. I can't see a more perfect scenario than riding this thing, putting it on the back of your truck or your RV or whatever, and riding this thing through the campground. It's literally perfect for that, and probably not much else. Maybe just going through some slow downtown areas.
All right, first impressions with the VicTrip R6. Yeah, I mean, look, is it gonna blow our socks off, right? Probably not. But, you know, I think if you are intending to get this for a kid or a teenager, young teenager, just getting into e-bikes, it's actually not bad. I probably would recommend this over some of the like mini bike offerings that are in the market right now. Some of those are like, you know, mid-drive motors, really powerful, really torquey. If you don't know what you're doing, you could probably get hurt. So if you want to kind of introduce them into something that is just a little bit more tame, but still has kind of the traditional moped style fat tire e-bike look, you know, this is not bad. And if you're one of these modders that want to put a giant battery on here, a giant motor, it's actually kind of a cool frame to do it on, right? It's like more compact. But yeah, that's the VicTrip R6, you know, decent for what it is.
So here's what we like. The VicTrip R6 is compact and easy to handle, with smooth power delivery that makes it great for beginners and a good fit for kids or teens. But there are a few trade-offs. The keyless access feels a bit unnecessary for this style of bike. The motor may not satisfy experienced riders looking for more punch, and taller riders could find the frame too small. So what do you think of the VicTrip R6 Mini Fat Tire e-bike? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.